What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Love and Hip Hop Miami Season 3, Episode 5. We're on Episode 5. So, we pick up where we left off with Joseline Hernandez dropping off the pig to Prima Donna's event. And this is what I love about this moment. They totally went behind, what's it, they call it the fifth wall, fourth wall, whatever. And Prima Donna started talking directly to production. She said, first of all, the only reason why you back on this show is because of me. You needed a storyline. And after all that shit you talked about Love and Hip Hop, here you are back on Love and Hip Hop. And because you need a storyline, you coming for me. And then she told the producer, she said, Lauren, you know what this means, right? So I want to know the next time she's on the calendar, the next event that she has, because I'm going to be there. I will be pulling up. I said, oh. So that lets me know. See, when they put that stuff on there like that, see, that ain't scripted. That's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, they went behind the fifth wall. She called production. And she said, and she was right. She said, you did all that, talking about love. And that's probably why they left all this in there, because for real, Joseline ain't on the show because they really wanted her back on the show. I think it was advantageous to both parties, and I think that the compromise is putting her on Miami and not bringing her back to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, because I just think that she burnt way too many bridges. I don't think anybody would film with her. Like, that was the problem that who was it? Was it Phaedra or was it Sheree? Or Kenya. Anyway, one of them housewives started having was that nobody wanted to film with them. So what's the purpose of you being on the show if nobody wants to be in a scene with you? And I think taking her back to Atlanta would have been the issue. Who's she gonna film with? She's not filming with Mimi and none of Mimi's crew. The new folk, you got Spice. That ain't going nowhere. You have Tokyo Vanity. Who? Hell no. Like, who's filming with her? You would have to bring, so I think the compromise, you already living in Miami, we're just going to go and bring you in Miami. How we going to give you a storyline? Okay, Prima Donna, y'all got beef, whatever. All right. So then we see, and Trick was just disgusted with the whole thing. Like, later on in the episode, Trick goes to see Prima Donna in the studio, and Prima Donna's making music. And quiet as this kept, Prima Donna has already had singles out before. I know Gardini, aka Rick Rosa, if you guys know him from Chasing Atlanta, he did some work with Prima Donna. If you follow his Instagram, his social media, he did work with her, and she did a song about a summer ago. She did a song anyway. But Trick was like, yo, what was all that about? Like, I ain't like that. Like, Trick was like, I don't understand. Like, why is she coming for you? Like, I don't understand. They had Trick filming with Joseline, and I think that was all it was filming with Joseline. But I feel like Trick and Prima Donna have a real relationship. So his attitude was like, what was all that about? Like, I don't get it. Why she coming for you? What's the problem? Where I need to be on this whole situation, because I know I got my money on this side, but you my girl. So I think it was just one of those things where it's like, he just really wasn't feeling it. He really was just like, I don't know what this is. I don't like it. I mean, you could just see he was disgusted by the whole thing. Then we had Trina meeting up with Bobby Lights and with Jay and with Joy. Joy is telling them that she just hit this revelation that Trick is still in love with her, and they all were looking at her like, duh. I'm not even going to discuss Mr. Bobby Lights and the bruises on his neck from clearly the rough sex he had the night before. Anybody that's walking around Miami with a turtleneck on, clearly there's an issue. We're going to let that go. What you do in your bedroom is between you and the person in that bedroom. No judgment here. Now, Trina was saying she's getting her, she's behind on everything. She's trying to get this tour off the ground, and she wants to put a boot camp in place. She said, with everything that's going on with my album, with my mom, this is really keeping me, preoccupied, and I really want to focus on it, and I really want it to turn out well. And so she decided she's going to put a boot camp in place. So in that moment, Joy was like, I want to talk to you about Nikki. Trina was like, she said, well, I kind of had this situation where I feel like I'm the reason why her and Trick broke up. And I kind of feel bad. I kind of owe her one because and she was like, if you could do me a favor and talk to Trina, tell her I apologize and I'm sorry. I know I came off a little strong, but can I please get on the tour? Trina was like, absolutely not. with a straight face. She was absolutely not. You know, Joy was like, I know she came off a little strong. I know she did a little too much, but, you know, could you please just do this solid for me? And Trina was like, I don't see why I should. And Bobby put up a good point. Bobby said, go on and let her go on, let her come, because she's gonna shoot herself in the foot because she don't know how to act. And I see the people that you've invited. I know the people that you put in as a part of this, and she don't stack up to them, and she's gonna end up shooting herself in the foot. So go ahead and invite her so that she can't say you ain't give her a chance and you didn't try to give her an opportunity, because she's gonna fuck it up. So Trina was just like, alright, she can come, but let her know one hair out of place and it's a wrap. Like, I'm not playing with her, and I'm not playing with her. So then we see Hood Brat and in the scene with her boyfriend. Look, Hood Brat, you seem like a nice young woman. I understand they really want us to understand your situation. They want us to understand how bad, how hard you hustling, how desperate you are to get out of your situation, what happened with your sister, and how you helping to take care of the kids. Look, I understand it. I feel for you. But this is the third scene where we've seen you saying the same thing. The only difference is this time we got to meet your boyfriend, who seems like a pretty nice dude. So I can't dwell on that. She said the same thing she's been saying. She needs this tour. She got to hustle for her family. She's trying to come out of where she came from. Great. Love it. Amara and her mom. Look, Amara, listen to your mama. Look, Amara, you have always been a mama's girl. You take mama on dates. You take your mama with you to go to meetings with managers. Remember that first season when you took your mama with you to go meet up with an old boy that was talking about your hair? All of that. You talking to your mama about your situation with Julian and with MJ. Your mama peeped that whole thing. You need to listen to your mama. You need to follow what she said. Your mother said, look, you need to talk to Jillian. You owe him that. You need to stop listening to all these other people in your ear. You need to stop listening to MJ. I've been peeping MJ. He's been around the last 4 or 5 months, and all he's doing is causing confusion. He's causing problems. Stop listening to him. Get him out your ear. You go and you sit down with Jillian. Now, what you didn't do, your mama told you to sit down with Jillian by yourself, where it's just the two of y'all. But you took MJ with you, which he probably took himself. But you should have listened to your mama and sat down with Jillian and had a conversation with Jillian by yourself, one-on-one. But whatever. But your mama gave you some good information and some good advice. I don't like this MJ. I ain't saying I'm crazy about Jillian either, because I do think that it's some shit in the sauce with Jillian. But I don't know how I feel about MJ. I'm not feeling MJ, y'all. I'm not. Convince me different. I'm not feeling MJ. Anyway, we're going to get back to them a little bit later on. So we have Joy. Look, this was the funniest scene of the whole episode, y'all. Joy done met up with her friend Carolyn from the church, honey. She gonna try to set Carolyn up with Trick. She gonna tell Carolyn that she feel like until Trick finds another woman, he's not gonna let her go because he's still in love with her and she is trying to get out of this marriage. I need y'all to send me the divorce laws in Miami or Florida. I really need to understand these divorce laws, okay? Another conversation. Now, Carolyn was like, okay, I understand you got a little project you working on. I don't know if Carolyn fully understood that Joy was trying to set her up with Trick. I'm not sure. But Trick shows up. He comes walking in the door. Trick thought he was coming for a little one-on-one situation with Joy. And he get there and Joy got another woman at the table. And this how you should have known that the whole conversation was going to go left. Trick sat down at the table and said, who this is? That's how you knew this whole thing was going left. Honey, Joy said, well, Trick, this is my friend, Carolyn. She's from the church. I wanted to introduce you guys. He said, mind you, he's not talking to Carolyn. He's talking to Joy. He said, you brought her here to meet me? That's for me? He said, nah. Joy said, Trick, you ain't even give her a chance. Just talk to her. I'm going to go and get us a drink. Trick was like, look, I'm going to just go on and tell you. I know this ain't going to work out. Carolyn said, how do you know? You don't even know me yet. You haven't even had a conversation with me. He said, look, I could tell by looking at a woman whether I want to be with her or not. He said, I like my women a little slutty. Now, I don't know how Joy should feel about that comment, but honey, that thing cracked me up when he said, I like my women a little slutty. She said, so you don't think I'm slutty? He said, no. No, she said, no, I'm not slutty. He said, yeah, I know. He said, so then she starts talking to him about his, she said, well, you don't know anything about me. She said, I can fry chicken. He was like, I don't give a fuck about you. I have a restaurant. I can fry my own chicken. She said, yeah, but, your greens ain't all that good. Honey, the worst thing you can do is insult a cook about his or her food. Okay? You'd have been better off coming at him from the point of view of, let's cook together. Show me how you make your greens. I want you to taste my greens. Like, you could even turn it into a little sexual innuendo. Trick was like, what? He said, how you supposed to be trying to get to know me? You going to insult my food? Like, for real? Like, what? And baby, that was it right there. I mean, well, she ain't have a snowball's chance in hell either. He talking about something. We can go out on a date. And, what he say? January 22nd. Okay? That's when he gonna go out on a date with this woman. Honey, that thing was so funny. Trick was so damn ignorant. Like, I understand what he was saying, but Trick was so damn ignorant. Trick said, look, let me tell you something. You in the way. You in the way. I'm trying to have a situation with Joy. You in the way. Honey, it was so funny. But he was rude as hell to that woman. But when she assaulted his greens, I said, honey, we just made a hard left right here. Y'all was already going down the wrong road. But now y'all done made a hard left and deeper into the wrong direction. Anyway, Joy ended up walking her out. Trick was like, yeah, get her ass out of here. Just ignorant. So we meet up with Suki. She is filming her new music video in the convenience store. Is that a popular location for these hood videos? And I say that because remember last season on Love and Hip Hop, Akbar. Remember she was filming a video in the convenience store? I mean, is that just what we do now? Anyway, so she meets up with her friend Camille, something like that. Anyway, the one that was twerking for Jesus. Her and Trina has invited her on the tour. So now we got Suki, Hood Brat, and Trina. Now Hood Brat was like, because they're friends, so they all happy that they going on the tour and they talking about the boot camp and everything. And come to find out that Miss Nikki Natural has been trolling Hood Brat on social media because, of course, she blames Hood Brat for the whole situation down at Briscoe's party, which it was Hood Brat's fault. But Hood Brat was like, look, Suki's my friend. We go way back. We've been friends for a long time. I'm going to look out for my girl, so it is what it is. So, that's going to be a situation when all of them meet up, honey. That's going to be a problem. So, next we see Amara, Julian, and MJ meeting up. And like I said, I don't feel like MJ should have been at this meeting. It really should have been Amara and it should have been Julian. And Julian said, because Amara was like, I wanted to talk to you, because I talked to the lawyer and the lawyer said you want all of my publishing or whatever. And Julian was like, see, that's the problem. We should have never been going through lawyers. He said, you should have called me. We should have sat down and we should have had this conversation. And she was like, what did she say? But anyway, basically she was like that she didn't know she wanted him to represent her anymore. And he was like, your problem is you got too many people in your head. He said, it's always been me and you. He was like, I invested everything in you. We've been hustling together. We've been doing this for the last however many years. And that, I got your best interest. Now, Amara is talking to him and trying to have a conversation with him. And MJ talking about something. You need to talk to him. I'm trying to give you a chance to talk. You better talk to him. And Julian was like, really? You trying to give her a chance to talk? Like, that's part of the problem right now. You are putting your 2 cents in. So then the whole incident at the hotel room came up again. Now, I owe MJ a little bit of an apology because what it sounds like is that MJ did address Julian when the whole thing went down. But what I'm thinking is it wasn't so much that Amara didn't want him to mention it, like he didn't want to say nothing to Julian. Sounds like Amara didn't want it on the show. Because if the situation was addressed, if Julian and MJ had already, MJ had already cussed Julian out and they had already had their little situation about it, it sounds like what Amara didn't want is for that information to become public. And Julian was like, you should have respected your woman's wishes and not brought the whole thing up. Like, you should have respected how she felt about it. I'm going to address it however I want to address it. That's my woman. And if it was the situation was reversed, you would address it too. Valid. True. So then Amara was like, I feel like you changed, Julian. I feel like you changed. You're not the same guy that, when we first started out, would come to my apartment with your laptop and we would just thug it out. We would just figure it out and we would work it out. I feel like maybe, the success has kind of gone to your head a little bit. And I just don't feel like you there for me like you were. And Julian was like, really? Like, that's how you feel? He was like, well, what is it? What you want to do? Like, what is it you want to do? So Amara was like, I think I want to, he said, because you're free to go. I'm not holding you here. And she was like, well, that's not that easy because you want my money. You want my money. And he was like, look, if you want to go, you can go. Now, I still didn't hear a clear conversation about royalties, publishing, and all of that. But okay. So eventually Amara said, well, that's what I want. I want us to separate. I don't want you to be my manager anymore. And Julian was like, all right, well, good luck. And he pretty much got up and left. And of course, y'all know how Amara is. Amara was upset. Y'all know Amara, child. Y'all know Amara. So I don't know how that's going to pan out. I don't know how I feel about that move. I don't know if Julian was the best move, but I know I don't like MJ. And I really don't want to see MJ slide in to be her manager. And that's what her mother told her that he was trying to do. So next we see Tip and we see Prima Donna and Miss Dawn. Y'all remember Dawn from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Remember, she was a manager for a while and she actually managed Joseline for a while. Come to find out that her and Joseline didn't fell out. We found out a few things in this little conversation. One, we found out her and Joseline didn't fell out. She said that Joseline stayed at her condo for a weekend or so while she was doing some work in Miami. And Joseline done stole from her, or I ain't get the whole story, but it sounded like she said stuff was missing. Joseline was the only one in there. She believed Joseline stole it. She said that she is Bonnie Bella's goddaughter, and she said, I'm going to always be there for my goddaughter, but I can't fuck with Joseline. She called her the Puerto Rican peasant, honey. So they got all kinds of nicknames for Joseline. So what we also find out is that Tip has known Tip, Prima Donna, and Joseline. They go way back. Tip said she's known Joseline since they were 13. So before the strip club, before all of that, they are childhood friends. And she said, I don't know if friend is the word, but they've known each other. And she said Joseline falls out with everybody. She said that's why Joseline does not have any friends. She said she fell out with her sister. She fell out with her mom. She fell out with every female, all of her friends. She's fallen out, and this has gone on for years. Like, she's always been this person. So they were just basically commiserating on, how horrible of a person Joseline is. Of course, she told her the story about the pig and, everything that went down at her party. So, that was Dawn's little purpose for being there, I guess. I don't know if she's going to be on more than one. They said she's only there for a couple of days, honey. So last but not least, we getting ready for the boot camp, okay? We got Trina, we have Joy. They meeting up. Look like they had like a little hotel area with like a nice pool or something like that. But they're meeting up there. And, Trina was like, I'm trying to, get this whole situation taken care of. I want to, want them to understand what the commitment is to this and all that good stuff, and that they represent me. They're representing my brand. I don't want no mess. So Nikki shows up. Now, see, here's the problem. Nikki showed up, and she showed up on that bullshit. She didn't show up humble. She didn't show up apologetic. She didn't even apologize to Trina. She just was like, well, I'm glad you let me come. I want to thank Joy for, talking to you and, letting me come. And I kept waiting for her to apologize to Trina. I ain't had no damn apology. See, I don't like that half-ass bullshit apology. Apologize to Trina. I am sorry that I disrespected you. That's what she needed to say. And I didn't hear that. Then she starts telling Trina basically, I'm doing you a favor by being here because I'm the best rapper you got. I've seen the list. I know who's coming and I'm the best one. And Joy was like, yo, you hold up, rewind, back that tape up. You tripping again. You playing again. Like, don't do that. What are you doing? And Nikki, so Trina was like, see, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. So they end up walking off, I guess, to go take care of some other stuff. And while they, Joy was telling her, look, calm your ass down. When we come back, I need you to be a little more humble. So while this is going on, Sookie shows up. And Sookie hits her straight up with the, why you steal my phone? Because Sookie's thing was, I lost money. I'm a mother. I have responsibilities. And because I didn't have my phone and people couldn't get in touch with me, I lost bookings. I lost money. And so she hit her straight up with the, why'd you take my phone? And Nikki went straight into hollering, screaming. She jumped up like she was going to fight her. And to Sookie, let me say this. To Sookie's defense, because I've been giving it to Sookie kind of hard. But in Sookie's defense, she didn't immediately go to smack that woman. She turned to production and said, I'm trying to talk to her. She's the one that's trying to turn this into an altercation. I'm trying to talk to her. Because Nikki done took her shoes off and everything else ready to fight. And Sookie is telling the production, look, I just want my phone. She stole from me. And you see she's trying to turn this into a fight. So while they're arguing and they're doing this back and forth, Hood Brat shows up. So, of course, Hood Brat sees her homegirl going at it with Nikki. She already got beef with Nikki because she said Nikki been trolling her on social media. So then they get to fighting. So it does turn into a physical altercation. Nikki done hit Sookie with the shoe. They done... child... It was ugly, okay? The three of them are going back and forth. They got the bodyguards. They got production. You can see the cameras. And then here come Trina and Joy walking up like, what in the hell is going on? Honey, Sookie done took Nikki's purse and threw it in the damn water. She said she owed me a phone. So bam, there it is. Honey. And Sookie's trying to explain to Trina what the problem is. She said she stole my phone. Like, she stole from me. She cost me money. And Trina is trying to get everybody to calm down so she can figure out what's going on. And, of course, Hood Brat goes after Nikki again. And when Twerking for Jesus shows up, she said, wait a minute, what's going on here? She said, what is this? And they were trying to explain to her what happened. She told Sookie, she said, Sookie, no, ma'am, we don't do this. That's what we got lawyers for, boo. We don't do this. We let lawyers handle this. We don't do this. But as soon as they got Sookie somewhat calmed down, Nikki is still, on the other side yelling. She's still yelling across and yelling back and forth. So Sookie started throwing they had like one of those fire pits. Honey, she started throwing the chicory from the fire. Child, it was a mess. Trina said, look, I'm done with this shit. She said, there's no boot camp, there's no tour, there's no nothing. I'm not doing this because what I'm not about to do is have this going on with my name on it. And her and Joy walk off, honey. And that's where the episode ended. Now, I done seen the previews from next week. And all I'm going to say is this. They found out who the baddest bitch really is. That's all I'm going to say. We'll wait till next week. Because, they give you these previews. So I'm going to wait till next week and see what really went down. But, baby. Looked like Nikki might have bit off a little bit more than she could chew. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.